Hey, darling. I literally like I trying to stay grounded with what's going on with me at the moment is near on impossible unless I'm actually sat on the fucking lawn. So I'm like, right, I'm sitting on the lawn. So yes, life in
Okay,
my
okay.
garden.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
is this what you felt like over the weekend? Did you go through this?
Um, well, it took me 2 days to.
Okay. Okay. Great. So I've completely fucking screwed up. No, I haven't screwed up my week. No, it's all good. It's all good. I was just like, I suddenly felt like all this energy, and then I got really dizzy, and I like that was the moment when I had the kind of mushrooms fairground ride feeling, and I was literally going, "Why do I feel like this?" And I just like I asked my higher self, are
Mhm.
you trying to get more of you in me?" And I was told yes. I'm like,
Yeah,
no
exactly,
wonder.
exactly.
No wonder I
Yeah.
feel loopy.
Well, we're going to be talking a bit about the power activations on our next live, but
And I'll be able to
today,
give my opinion of after the
yeah,
event next.
yes, of the after effect.
Hopefully.
When you are probably grounded and in yourself, in your body again.
Today Anita's going to be doing most of the talking because I have a feeling I'm not going to make a huge amount of sense.
Well, actually not, because today is kind of your domain, so to speak. So
Oh my god, here we go.
we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, we can always
So
redo it.
we can always redo. It's always, uh, okay, I'm thinking out loud now. Now is the
Okay,
time where get to the dancing bit,
the dancing bit.
because
I can't even
yeah,
do
I'm
that. I
going.
feel like the yoga has seized up my whole body. I'm like,
I was going to, yay, I found the live on the PC. I'm going to
my
share.
whole body is falling apart. Never mind.
Oh, don't be so dramatic, dear.
No, I was going to walk down to the cliff to do this today, and my body diva was just like, "No, I do not want any further exercise today. Thank you very much." Because I walked about
So
10K yesterday.
just
So
allow yourself to be.
I am. I might lie down.
Oh,
No, actually, that'll pull the phone over.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Ta-da-da, I'm getting there.
La.
Do we remember a song about getting there? Don't think so.
If I lay here, if I just lay here, will you lay with me? Oh, I can't remember the
You're
rest of the
awesome.
words.
I love it how you manage to, pull the songs like out of a hat. So, okay, we're starting
We
this
are stuff.
party.
Yes, remind me what I'm talking about. Guides, that was it.
Yeah.
Yes, I know
So,
what I'm talking
what we're
about.
talking about today, we're talking about the
In
third domain of creating orgasmic sales, which is engaging multidimensional support. And in that area, my dear, you are the expert. Because
yes,
why we want to do this is like, having top-notch business advisors on
yep.
call 24/7. And
Imagine
this is when.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
imagine Sanat Kumara with a hotline
yeah,
waiting for your call.
exactly, exactly. So what we're basically dealing with, as we have been talking about in the previous two lives,
Mm.
is when we are at a place where we are opening up to our brilliance, we are stepping into a much much bigger role than we have before. You know,
Yeah.
we even picked out the role that we want to play, and we haven't played that role before, so we don't know how to do things.
Exactly.
We haven't done it before. And one thing about this, the big names, the entrepreneurs that are making it big time, these are all people that did what they haven't done before. And they even did what hasn't been done before. There are no guarantees. When you are stepping into your greatness and brilliance, there are no guarantees. You don't know if your shit is going to work or not. So you are walking in blind faith. You're walking in blind faith, and it's scary as shit. Except when you have direct communication line, hotline with Sanal Kumara.
Sanat Kumara, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael, basically whoever you want to work with, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah.
Essentially, the way that I work it is, although it does change all the time, I actually nominated certain people to be, certain beings to be my advisors in certain arenas. So actually Sanat, I asked him to take on the role of being my business advisor a while ago.
Yes, I have different ones. So this was just an example. Yeah.
Exactly. But you pick who you feel resonant with in terms of the guides and so on and so forth that you're working with, essentially. And it's about learning to actually ask them for support when you need it. That's the bit. People always know that they can ask, but they forget. Even I forget sometimes.
And many don't even know how to ask.
Exactly.
And I remember this part, on my path of awakening. A lot of things simply came to me, but also a lot of things I didn't even know I could ask about. And this is such an important thing for people that aren't perhaps, as well connected as you are. Just the idea of knowing how to ask. And the other thing that we are going to talk about on this live is to make a distinction between what is actual bullshit that you're feeding yourself with and what is actual guidance, what is real guidance, what is intuition, what is just simple plain old bullshit. This is what we're going to talk about.
Exactly.
So hi Laura. Awesome to have you.
Lovely to see you, darling.
First thing today, I could probably guess that people are wondering right now, okay, how do I ask? How do we create this bridge?
It's all through the heart.
What will you recommend?
It's all through the heart. It's all through the heart. If you're going through the mental body, this is where your ego, and we're not going to malign the ego because egos are necessary. They're part of the personality construct. But, as we know, there's a lot of psychics and so on and so forth out there who are making a mental connection. And there's, the mental body has a lot of filters. Okay. The mental body has a lot of filters. We could talk about the fact that we see people who are using an entirely mental connection, calling themselves psychics, dishing out total bullshit advice to people. I've seen it. I've seen a number of people doing this. There's ethics to it. I'm not going to go into all the negatives of this, but I see psychic business advisors basically
filtering their own judgments.
Filtering through their own judgments, telling people yes or no on decisions, which actually guides, relationship. We've both spoken about this, haven't we? People turning around and going, people asking about their relationship, and apparently their guides have turned around and said to the person who claims to be channeling aforementioned guides, no, you're going to split up. That would never fucking happen. That is something coming through someone's personal filters, and they're selling it as guidance, and it's not. You know,
no guide ever say that. And that actually brings us to, you know, another point in this, that, you know, if we're talking about psychic guidance, that, you know, psychics see one possibility, one timeline.
Out of many.
Making such out of many, and making such assumptions, you know, like, is this, you know, course going to sell? Is this offer going to sell? And blah, blah, blah. Okay, based on current conditions, you could say yes or no, but conditions...
You can change those conditions, you know, all you need to... Change. Exactly. You can change your programming and change something. It might be that something's not going to sell because you've got programs in the way that are actually preventing it from connecting with the people that it needs to connect with, and you actually need to take those fucking programs out. It's, you know, this is about taking a level of personal responsibility, actually, and this is something I get very passionate about. You know, people going to people and going, will this happen? Will that happen? Handing their power away willy-fucking-nilly to people who claim to be experts. And yes, I am going to do air quotes on this, and not actually owning their fucking power.
Yeah, exactly. And the simple act of getting a yes or a no is a very big factor in what you are going to create. You allow that to affect you. If, okay, let's say that you want to put an offer out there and some psychic business coach says no to you, it's not going to work out. What do? You create that reality that this isn't going to work out, but you have all the power within you to take this offer and create it in a way that it will work.
Exactly. Apart from you just handed your power away to someone else's decision about what you're doing, as if they know better than you. Okay. Which is bollocks.
Please create my reality for me. Thank you.
Yes, because I'm not prepared to take responsibility for myself, because I need parental figures to basically tell me what to do. You know, this is a cold hard reality of it. When people do this, it drives me absolutely fucking nuts when I see them handing their fucking power away. The simple fact of the matter is, you can actually learn to work with your own guidance. You can learn to actually hear what your guides have to say about things, and they will never tell you, no, don't do this. They will suggest ways in which you can improve things. They will suggest ways in which you can sort your shit out so that your offer does work, even if you're not currently in that place where it will, because you've got the programs and so on and so forth, you know.
And this leads us to, you know, because people, they don't want to give their power away, and, you know, some simply do not know any better. And that leads me to think, okay, what kind of question to ask? Because we know that...
There we go. You've got the mental dogs next door, and your dog's joining in now.
Yes, my dog is joining in. And what was I going to say? Yes, because these simple yes and no questions, they aren't very efficient. Because what you're doing is you're taking just one moment in time. If instead of asking for guidance on how to create what is in your best interest.
Exactly. It's interesting, actually. You know what? This is funny because this ties into something, you know, like the whole multidimensional you thing I've been talking about. I suddenly realised, because I hadn't been properly grounded over the past few days since, you know, and now I am. I had this sudden realisation, like, that they'd been trying to get through to me, that actually I don't need to do all of the hoo-ha hoop jumping. That was just my ego trying to do something. I was given the awareness that all I need to do is put it on an offer. I don't need to do all this other shit with it. And I was just like, you know what, that just makes my life... They said, you know, you're trying to create more work for yourself for no apparent reason. And I was just like, yeah, that actually makes sense. My ego was trying to get in there and kind of go, you need to do this, and you need to repackage it, and you need to blah, 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 blah. It's just like, I don't, do I? No, you don't. Just put it on an offer. Perfect example, actually.
We kind of complicate things to a very large extent.
It's the human thing. We like to validate our existence by making things really complicated, which, you know, we could boil this down to the really super complicated programs that people release that have 50 million steps, and you have to jump through all these hoops and spin around and fucking learn how to pat your head and rub your belly at the same time and make an offering to the east and ride the back of a crow and do whatever the fuck, you know, along the way. It's like you're creating all these bargains with the universe. If I jump through this hoop and this hoop and this hoop and this hoop, then at the end I get a rosette. You know, and essentially,
you have really hard at something, you are more worthy. Da-da. What bullshit. This is what is feeding off this bullshit that us believing if we work hard for something that we are more worthy of receiving. That's absolute bullshit.
Exactly. You know, manifestation, creation doesn't need to be this ridiculous 50 million step process. Nothing needs to be complicated. It doesn't need to take fucking years to clear a limiting belief. I could go on and on and on.
Like, and on, and on, and on.
You know, there's power in simplicity.
It's like a typical launch program. You know, it could drag on for 2 or 3 months. Like many very popular coaches are advising you take 2 or 3 months for the launching process.
I'd die of boredom.
I wouldn't die of boredom.
I would literally, I'd just be like, take me out now. If I have to do 2 or 3 months, because, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, everyone's going to want to work with how they feel their energy flows the best. But I know certainly for me, I like to work fast. I like to ride the energy. If I'm riding the energy for 2 to 3 months, I'm sorry, I've fallen off the fucking surfboard. I'm at the bottom of the sea talking to the fish. I've totally lost sight of what the fuck I'm doing, basically. It needs to be quick, impactful, powerful, and permanent, you know, in terms of, in fact, that's like the whole credo for me in terms of like the way that I do anything. That's the way that my energy likes to move, and so on and so forth. But people espouse these really ridiculously long-winded things, you know, and they say it's the guides telling them, and actually no, it's your ego filtering this bullshit and espousing it as fucking universal fucking truth.
Guides will never, you know, tell us that things take time, because first of all, time does not exist in their dimension. So no,
they might turn around and tell you need to actually do a bit of work on your frequency. That's a different thing.
Yes. And to actually, you know, take some action on something, or grow in some way, or change something. But they will never say that, you know, this will take 5 weeks. This will take 2 months. No, never.
This is why when people look at time frames on things, they're very like, this is funny actually. I used to work on Arena ages ago. God, that was like the worst job fucking ever. Basically, when everything started opening up for me, I was doing readings on there with cards, and I would get people coming in asking me for time frames on stuff, and I used to say I don't give time frames because they shift all the fucking time, and they wouldn't get it. They'd be like, everyone else does, and it's just like, yeah, but you know what, I could give you a time frame, and then you could actually take the fucking big, huge, like really responsible decision to actually start working with your energy, and you could fucking compact this 5 weeks or whatever down to 2 days. You know, it's pointless giving a fucking time frame in actual fact, because there's so
you can set a time frame for specific actions, but you cannot set a time frame for results or shift or transformation or results. It's not possible. It can happen within the day. It can happen within the year.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
And,
More
and actually,
on.
I would even say if you set a time frame for specific actions, you might find as you go along that if you plan out far ahead of yourself, that you start shifting those things around because it feels like the right thing to
No,
do. So it's
that's
that whole thing of
absolute
being.
bullshit. That's the major, one major fuck up with goal setting that people do is that they organize and they plan their goals so far ahead in time, not taking into account that as soon as you start taking action, you shift the rest of the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why planning, it isn't a static process. You cannot create a plan that will remain static. You have to, design a framework that allows for everything to shift as you go along and as you grow.
Exactly.
This is planning 101 in my books.
Yeah,
When you work with
exactly.
me. No fucking goal setting.
Yeah,
It doesn't work, and it really limits you and everything that you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk a little bit more about how to distinguish between, actual guidance and inspiration and intuition from bullshit. How to make.
Okay, so my general credo is genuine guidance. A is always loving. B, you feel it in your body as you're getting it. Okay, so especially in your heart. C doesn't tell you that you have to do this or this will fail and blah 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 blah. It's actually it's very, I would describe it as it's not definitive. It's like having a dialogue. Essentially, I always think of it as having a dialogue. When your ego comes in with bullshit, it's like, you must do this, you must do
Your
this,
fear.
you must fulfill this, basically, and you get like the bossy tone. Essentially, your guides will never boss you around. Genuine guidance is not bossy. It doesn't require for you to deify. Like if you have any fucking being, if you have any being asking you to worship them, put them on a pedestal, they are not who they say they are. Either that or your ego is just creating some fucking phantom figure.
We're basically talking about two things. It could either be your fear and limitations talking, or it could be some kind of a non-supportive being.
Yeah, exactly. And effectively, the only way to work this one out, you can feel like, I'd say the biggest single thing is learning how to feel. And actually the Pleiadians talk about this in Bringers of the Dawn. They say, your feelings are your greatest ally. Learning to work with your feelings, understand and interpret them, learning to understand when there's, the difference between the fear that comes up, which is actually, your fear of stretching yourself, because your ego will always try to keep you smaller and safer. And the fear that comes up because actually there's fear being instilled in you by something that's coming in that feels wrong, if that makes any sense. And
that's interesting.
It's it's essentially, it's about, like, I'll come down to it. Basically, you need to essentially learn to fine tune your senses. It's about the fine tuning, and the more that you fine tune, the more you automatically, instinctively know what's bullshit and what's not. And I've had to do it the hard way. I've had to kind of go through the thing and like suss it out. When I first started, there would be stuff coming through my mental filters and and I think everyone goes through this. I would think that it was genuine, and this happens for everybody. It's a learning process for everyone whose abilities open up. I was confronted with it at the back end of last year by that guy who claimed he'd read my energy field, who came out with that fucking screaming pile of turd about how I was being abused and my solar plexus was blown up and all this other stuff, rather hilariously. And he's there going, I feel like I'm so... oh, my abilities are so wide open, I know everything. And I'm there going, well, actually, you got all of that wrong. All of it. The whole fucking lot.
Yeah.
And then he got embarrassed. You know, essentially, the key things with this, grounding. And when you're not grounded, it's much more difficult to tell what the fuck is going on. Grounding is the number one most important thing. The absolute fucking... What?
And the simplest way for those of you that, you know, don't know what grounding is, or perhaps do not have a process for this, is to simply be in your body, be in your heart space. You know, that's the most important thing of grounding. But when you are up in your head or above your head, then you're not in a very cool place, and what's going on, you know, could be just fear or, you know, mental processes or whatever going on in your mind. So the first step is always to, you know, connect with yourself, connect with your heart, and just close your eyes and breathe a little bit and get into your body. Get into your body.
Observe the sensations that are going on in your feet. That's it. If you bring your attention down to your feet, that's one really good way of getting grounded, because you bring yourself down into the lowest point of your body and then work your way up to your heart, essentially.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool.
And don't do it the way that they do it in relaxation classes where people fall asleep as they move up their bodies.
Well, that's a bit counterproductive. Yeah, I mean, it's all about learning to recognize your own reaction and learn to recognize your own sensations and feelings when you are in the body. And that could take some time for you to do, just learning to recognize the different reactions. But I wanted to, this is such an important step. And I wanted to just, so you know, knowing how to go with your guts, knowing how to work with your intuition is the number one top quality of, you know, outrageously successful leaders. Yeah. Because this is what differentiates between people that are at a same level intellectually and in terms of experience and such. What differentiates is their ability to tap into their greatness and their brilliance. And that, my friend, is done through gut feelings, gut instincts.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Awesome.
Yes. I think you've summed all of that up really nicely.
This is the third domain of creating orgasmic sales, to support you in connecting with your own guides and with your intuition, and to differentiate between what is bullshit and what is not, to get you through your own filters of perception to receive accurate guidance. Because creating orgasmic sales, when you step up in such a big way as I opened up this live with, is you are doing things that you have never done before. This is why it's so important. You have to go with your gut. You have to go with your instincts. You cannot plan greatness. It's impossible.
No. Yes, exactly.
No. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. I can't lift my arms up at the moment. I go like this. I'm doing the gentle version. The roof is on fire. The roof is
on fire.
I'm doing like the minimal movements version.
And this will be our closing dance today. Until next time.
Hopefully I'll be less stiff tomorrow.
All, you know, burning up with. Yeah, unless I send you another of my power activations. Who knows? No, I'm just kidding.
I'll be leaving that till the weekend, love.
Yes.
I think, you know, one a week tops.
Take a breather. Take a breather. And on next live, we will
Yes.
be talking about power activations. I'm so excited to share that with you and how that supports you in creating orgasmic sales. So if you're getting all excited about creating your version, then book an appointment, book a meeting. We will put up the link. And that's all, folks. We need to, we need a closing song, Bye.
I need to stop making my shoulders feel like they're breaking. Bye.